Melinda and HarperAudio Australia present this unabridged recording of The Torrent, written by Dinuka Mckenzie and read by Elizabeth Brennan. The dedication reads, to Scott, Harvey, and Edie. Then, Marty Drummond lowered himself into the flooded drainage culvert. The wet weather had begun again in earnest, the headlamp on his helmet illuminating the swift needles of rain against the gloom of the night. Clad in a wetsuit and life jacket, and strapped to a safety line tethered to the embankment, he began slowly treading across the churning waters of the open, concrete-lined channel. A slight tug of the line told him the second rescuer had entered behind him. The headlights from one of the SES, State Emergency Service, trucks cast a sickly glow across the surge, revealing his destination some 10 meters ahead to his right. A man, perched precariously on debris, stranded in the middle of the drainage channel, his life raft consisting of nothing more than a tangle of tree branches, rubbish, and silt that had built up against some kind of obstruction in the flow. Any second, and the island of wedged-in materials could fall apart and wash away, taking its occupant with it. Despite the rain, a straggle of onlookers had gathered to witness the rescue operations, their phones out recording, pointing to the trapped man, and shouting out directions, as if Marty needed instruction. Mentally cursing, Marty pushed on. He had no idea how the man had ended up here, but after 6 years of volunteering for the SES, nothing the general public did surprised him anymore. It didn't matter that it had been raining for weeks, or that the entire Northern Rivers region of the state was the subject of rising creeks and flood warnings. People still took no heed, risking their lives in floodwaters for all sorts of inadequate reasons, like being in a hurry. He had a feeling tonight was going to be one of those nights. Just a few hours ago, he had been enjoying a beer and a round of Xbox with his mates. Now, barely half an hour into his shift, he was already hip-deep in the drink. The water was cold, but no more than Marty had experienced in previous rescue operations. What concerned him more were the unseen hazards swirling in its depths. He had no idea what muck was being carried by the dark, turbid flow that eddied around him. If something large snagged him, he could easily lose his footing, or get knocked into its silty current. Careful of where he was stepping, he slowly inched his way forward. Peering ahead, Marty tried to get a better view of the trapped man. He could just make out the blue of the man's jacketed arm wedged into the mound. He was facing away, apparently unwilling for fear of losing his grip. He had been lucky to have been spotted by a jogger on the adjacent footpath, one of those die-hard exercisers who pounded the pavement whatever the weather. As Marty looked on, the fragile island seemed to shift, causing the man to slip further towards the waiting liquid. I'm coming, mate. Just hang in there. He needed to get to the bloke and secure a life vest on him before the debris mound disintegrated completely. Marty could then use the safety line to steer the man clear. Only a few meters away now. Mate, can you hear me? Are you okay to put on a life jacket? There was no response. The man hadn't moved, or given any indication that he had heard him. Marty felt a shadow of foreboding. Shit. He had no idea how long the bloke had been stuck there. He could be hurt or unconscious, or worse. He pressed on, heaving himself forward against the pressure of the water. Almost there. A few more steps, and he would be within reach. He heard a shout. Looking back, he registered his safety line operator screaming something at him, seconds before he felt his knees buckle. Something large and bulky had knocked into him. He overbalanced, and only just prevented himself from being pulled under by clinging onto the line. Correcting himself, and taking a moment to signal back to the safety line operator that he was right to proceed, he resumed, ignoring the savage flare of pain in his knee. The rickety raft of rubbish was right in front of him now. Careful not to lean or put any weight on it in case it collapsed or moved,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?